Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. I just, while I was getting back to the balloonist stuff, because I went to save, I came back to the balloonist, I was singing on the way back, and there is no way that is making it into this episode, because it's not that entertaining. But here we are in the Beastmakers, ironically named the Beautiful Garden Home in the Japanese version. Well, that does have something to do with the lore of this area, which kind of sounds like the lore of this area, and now I'm just imagining a different themed Europe Scale 08 for every homeworld of this game. Now, the theme here is kind of equal parts swamp and overdeveloped technological nightmare, because there are these enemies and these metal floors, they zap the floors get all zappy, and if you stand on it while it's zappy, you take damage. Maybe this dragon can explain it better than I can. Also, Bruno, our first Beastmaker dragon.
Nasty Nork is turning our swamp into an electrified junk heap. And it used to be so beautiful.
I'm sure it was.
So there you go. You could tell by Spyro's reaction that we're not entirely sure whether something drastic has happened or not, because certainly the input of the Norks turning the area into electrical nonsense, certainly that is something that's de-beautified the area, but we don't know for certain whether it was a swamp prior to that happening as well. So we don't know whether the Japanese name Beautiful Garden Home is justified or not, because maybe it's beautiful in an ironic sense, maybe it's beautiful as in, no, it's a beautiful swamp. Maybe it was genuinely some sort of little vinegary paradise, and I will explain the vinegar thing in a future LP, because it makes sense, but it's kind of another sort of deal, where you'd have to know the other side of the context in order to understand this side of the context. We're on the wrong side of the context bridge. By the way, don't follow those gems, because there's one of these warthog things around the back of here, and you'd be inclined to charge at them, but this is one enemy where if you charge at them, you will take damage, because they can't be charged out of their attack animation. They hit harder than you do, so don't. End of sentence, just don't. Cletus. What a fitting name.
Spyro, it's great to see you, but I've got to go.
Oh, well, rude. Now, there was one episode where I was making reference to there being comparatively butch dragons. Well, that's what you get here. And also, there are these little vents all around the home that have green slime in them. Apart from this one. This one's just a hole. Very reminiscent of the well in Stone Hill, actually, or maybe that's just me. And it has a portal, there's a portal down here, and it's the portal to this homeworld's flight level. And it is the hardest of the bunch, in my personal opinion. Yeah, the next homeworld is easier than this one, in my opinion. But we'll get to that in due course. It's the only one that took me several attempts on my practice run, I'll say that much. And I think I might make that be the first main Beastmakers level I do in this episode, because I'm not a big fan of the Beastmakers home in general. Like, I like the aesthetic of the overworld, and I like the boss here, but the flight level is really hard, and the three main levels here, I just don't like them. Like, they're not necessarily difficult, they're just, I don't know, I can't explain it, I just don't really like them. And I know that, yeah, there we go, I was going to say, I know there's a 10 gem back here somewhere. And by the way, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but in later games, gems of different value got different shapes as well as different colours. Now, there's an entire section here where you need to go onto that platform and around that way, and then once you get up to that ledge, a whirlwind appears for use as a shortcut. 2 for use as a shortcut, yes, I can grammar. But you can actually just climb up here and then glide across, and there you go, you've just skipped an entire chunk of the homeworld, and there's the boss right there, Metalhead. Sounds like a rock group, really, in the same vein as Motorhead, or something like that. But yeah, we've been up there now, so there'll be a whirlwind spawning there at some point. But I'm gonna go around the honest way, because unlike with Ice Cavern, you can get up there illegitimately and work through this section backwards, and you have a much easier time with these electrified floors. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to cheap out on this episode. I'm going to go the whole, well, I would say go the whole hog, but that's kind of a terrible pun. So these platforms, these electrified platforms, they are a little bit all about timing, because, as you can see, they do fade after a while, but if you misjudge your timing, then you will land in it and take damage, and it's not a good time, because it's not fun being electrocuted to death. Now, out of curiosity, because I can't be asked checking, do we have enough anything to get to the next area yet? There we go. So, we can't skip this homeworld either. Magic Crafters is the only skippable one that we've encountered so far, and why would you want to skip the Magic Crafters home? It is such a pleasant, as I said, it's definitely my favourite homeworld, having given it some thought since I last spoke on the matter. Now, let's go a little bit out of boundsy again, because there's this over here. And I would ask, is this the first homeworld to feature a chest and a key? But no, it's the third one, after Peacekeepers and the other one. I did not tell you to jump, you fuckbucket. After the Peacekeepers and the Magic Crafters. In fact, the Artisans is the only one so far to not feature a key and a chest, although I don't think the next homeworld has one either. Now, I was going to ask, did I miss some gems, but I was just talking about the chest and the key. So, is that everything now? It looks like. Please keep ticking up gem counter. Yes, we are up to 300. Oh, and did I not collect this life before? What's wrong with me? Well, it's because I was skipping ahead to the upper ledge, wasn't I? Well, much as I'd love to do all of these other lovely, lovely levels, I'm just going to dive straight on in with the flight level because, as I said, it's the hardest flight level in the game, in my opinion. It took me several attempts, and it's very easy to crash and hit the water, and as I said, water in a flight level is insta-kill. Not a fun time. Yeah, let's get ragey. This is going to be fun, I'm sure. And I feel like I should probably do the boss this homeworld in this episode as well, because I'm not going to have time for a full level, or I might, we shall see. I'm completely winging this, no pun intended. I don't know what the optimal route through here is, because it looks like the chests are guiding you, because there are like 2.5 distinct areas in this level. There's this half with the archers and the boats, there's the central hub kind of area, and there's the bit with the chests and the other thing to collect aeroplanes. And it looks like you should spawn into the level, and then follow the chests into the area with the planes. But if you do that, then you don't really have much time to come back here and get the archers and the boats, even with the time boosts that getting all the targets gives you. And also, because you're going uphill and downhill next to streams of water, it is so easy to accidentally hit the water and subsequently instantly die. And wow, 3 boats all at once, not a good time, not a good time. Slightly panic stations. Okay, returning to the calm moments. Now, chests. Surprisingly one of the easiest things to miss, because you need to get close to them and flame them. But, well, I'm doing well enough so far. Now the planes here, as in Sunny Flight, there are 4 on one route and 4 in another route. And I am not doing well here, but there are 4 in a loop around this tower, and then there are 4 in a loop in this inside bit as well. And I don't know which ones I got, which ones I haven't. I'm running out of time because I'm kind of screwing this up and slightly panicking, and I'm commentating as well, and clearly it's the fault of the Let's Play curse and nothing else, and nya, I say, nya indeed. I know I've missed a chest, I'll go back for it in a second. Panic, because this is a difficult level. Please don't run out of time, please don't run out of time, please. Yes! On my first try! Oh my god, that is the hardest flight level in the game, just because it's so easy to run out of time. And it's so easy to hit the water, and wow. That was a thing that just happened. And that was actually really quick, so yeah, we have time for a main level. I thought maybe I'd only have time to do the boss level, because bosses seldom take long to do in this game. But no, we have time for the first main level of the game. Of the game? No, we're long... That's long since past, the first main level of the game. The first main level of this homeworld, I should say, which is called Terraced Village. And I remember making a note to myself before I started this LP. Right, when you get to Terrace Village, don't say Terrorist Village, because I know it's similar. But that skybox, though, that is pretty. I just pointed at the screen, you can't see me pointing, but that's a pretty colour. Now, with the Beastmaker's worlds, certainly for the first 2 main ones, so this one and the one that I'll start the next episode with, it is very easy to take damage, especially in the other level, like the second main level of this homeworld. Very easy to take damage because the enemies are, like, despite the swampiness, they are electrical based, they have really fast reactions, they are kind of brutal, but the enemies, as I said, in the level that isn't this one, they're much more brutal than this, so this one's kind of 4 stars out of 5 difficulty-wise, and the next one is 5 out of 5 if you're going for a no-hit run, which I'm not. Although it'd be nice if I could, and I keep meaning to shove that off. Enemies interacting with the environment. In this case, this little turret guy was zapping the chickens, and we just saw a propeller kill a chicken. So they do home in on targets. Now, I may not be as professionally good at the Beastmaker's levels, because being as they are my least favourite in the game, I am less inclined to practice them. But it's in this homeworld that... Okay, wow, you weren't even shooting, and I was inside you somehow. That was strange. But this is the homeworld that has the level that I keep hyping up that's built around supercharging in weird ways. But that'll be in the next episode as well. I don't like it, but I can appreciate its cleverness for the most part, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Also, I should note that I do like how the fodder here are these like these sentient roast chickens, or whatever, because each, as we've seen, each homeworld's name has something to do with the dragons that live there. There are the different classes of dragon. We've had the artisan dragons, who presumably are like the leaders, the government of the dragon world, or whatever. There are the peacekeepers, who keep the peace, the magic crafters who do magic things, and now we've got the beast makers who make the beasts. Although apparently that doesn't include the Norks. I don't know, we'll find out.
Watch out, Spyro. The Norks in these parts have discovered the power of electricity, and it really stings.
It's a bit of an understatement. Yeah, so presumably the Beastmakers are responsible for maybe not the Norks themselves, because we did find out in the opening, like, cutscene that actually Nasty Nork, the leader of the Norks, has found some way of turning treasure into soldiers. So, yeah, essentially Steven Universe. Firework time. Wow. Just ADHD commentary, apparently. But then again, I'm right to be on edge because there's so much electrical damage and stuff. You see, it's so easy to get hit. As I said, really hard to do a no-hit run, but not that bad as an actual level. Yeah, I just remembered at the last second that this is electrified ground. And of course, all the enemies would have rubber boots on and be impervious to electrical damage. I'm gonna get hit, aren't I? Oh, just barely not. Excuse you, I was just celebrating my not-hitness. Oh, that reminds me of the story of the fitness chicken. Have I ever told that one? Because I'm going to tell it now if I haven't. So in Sweden, and presumably either Norway or Denmark as well, there's this restaurant chain called Jensen's Buffhus, or, well, Jensen's House of Beef. And they have a salad buffet kind of thing. Like, they have that at a lot of restaurants. And you can pay extra, and you can have salad to go with your food. But there's a menu item called the fitness chicken, which is some chicken and some vegetables and unlimited salad bar access. I'm not quite sure how they can tell if you're eligible to go to the salad bar, because you could just rock up and claim your salad, but it's called fitness chicken because it's chicken with unlimited salad, and that's kind of cute, actually. And that's not a translation error either. Like, even in Swedish, it's fitness kyckling, which is literally fitness chicken. Ah, Cyprin. Hello.
Good job, Spyro. One day you'll be able to tell all the dragons about your amazing adventures.
Sure, but what I'd really like to do is get out of this swamp.
Paint me like one of your French dragons. Deary me. Now, where do we go from here? Because there's an area, like, there's a tier of land that's just, like, lower down than this. It's, yeah, down here. I suppose we should just flop down here now. And I say flop because sometimes when Spyro falls from a high place, he kind of flops on screen. He doesn't just drop, he flops. Although, I'm sure I could make... Wow, did I just get some slowdown? It's rather hard to tell. I could make some sort of pun about if you have Spyro fall from a high place, is that dragon drop? Oh, I know exactly what face best represents the noise I just made. And as if I hadn't just made a reference to Steven Universe as it is. Also, by the way, if I'm getting a bit loopy in the commentary department, it's because this is the 4th consecutive episode that I've recorded, because I kind of want to record this entire LP before I record my Master Quest. And being as it is the 3rd of June at the moment, I have one more episode of Master Quest that's not yet gone up, and then I need to start recording more. So, that's why I'm recording a metric fuck ton of Spyro now. Also, the fodder of this homeworld kind of look like red gems from a distance. Rude. Good grief, must you be so electric? Because that's a thing you'd say to someone. You piece. I haven't forgotten about the piece. That's not funny! Stop being unfunny, Tess, you cellular noid. It's been a while since I've had a creative insult, and that wasn't that good. The exit portal's down there, but we've got more business up here first, because as you'll recall, there's an entire other metal chest we've not dealt with yet, which would indicate that there's probably, read as, there is, because I know for a fact, at least one firework up here, he says, as you can quite clearly see 2 on screen. Speaking of 2, which is a beautiful segue, I know, I mentioned in whichever episode it was, that in the Japanese version of this game, yes, there's a peripheral that you can attach to the PlayStation that makes a new type of collectible appear in this game, and it's only in the Japanese version, and it's an add-on that was only available in Japan, I think. And those collectibles are dragonfly eggs, which I said before are these green eggs with little dragonfly wings like Sparks's. And every level, including every homeworld, has one. Except this level. This level has two, but one of them is too high up for you to be able to access at all. And I believe it's in the air somewhere around over there. I don't know for certain. Once again, I plugged him earlier in this LP, just go and check out Crystal Fisher's channel, because he did an entire playthrough of the game collecting every single dragonfly egg and making note of this thing, because, as I said, there are two dragonfly eggs here, and one of them's not gettable. So presumably, it was either put there by accident, or put there and then not removed. I can't words. I've recorded too many episodes in succession. I've forgotten how to English. How does English work? Help me. For a moment, I thought that orb on the wall there was like a balloon or something. In hindsight, I should have come in here last, because I need to go back and get those gems before returning to the exit portal. Oh, I'm so good at life. Speaking of life, again with the strange segues. That song by Nika Zoyan featuring Ramus, or the other way around, because I think Ramus is a DJ and Nika Zoyan was doing the vocals. Life ye moi, so blatantly sponsored by Pepsi. But life, L-I-J-F. Fairly sure that's not a word in Slovene, so is that just them trying to use the English word life as in L-I-F-E, but spelling it so it fits the Slovene spelling system? Because that's the only assumption that's the only conclusion I can reach. And on the subject of reaching a conclusion, I'm missing 5 gems. Where? Gems. Wems. Oh no. Oh no indeed. Did I miss a gem at the end? I hope so, but I'm gonna have to go back and check, and now I'm panicking because it was going so well. Well, it was going okay-ishly, and I'm sort of tempted to cut until I find it. I'm surprised it took this long for this to happen. I've said before that in this game, it's really bad if you get to the end of the level and you're missing either 10 gems, actually no, if you're missing a denomination of gem that can be contained within a single gem. So 25 isn't so bad, because more likely than not it'll be several gems, but 10 gems, it could be a single yellow, it could be 2 blues, it could be 10 reds or 5 greens, or any combination of the above that adds up to 10. And in this case, we're missing 5. And I don't know whether that's 1 blue gem, or 5 red gems, or 2 greens and a red, or some other combination of that, and where did I leave it? I may have to cut until I find it, because at this point I'm just rambling. There it is, it's down here for some hitherto unknown reason. And the biggest knife twist in all this is there's no obligation to get every single gem on your first run-through. In this case, we were told we need 50 dragons to progress to the next homeworld. Well, we have that. And we also need 6,000 treasure to progress to the homeworld after that, which, again, we already have. So we could completely skip the next homeworld if we want to, but I'm not going to, because it's actually my second favourite in the entire game. Only because the Magic Crafters is brilliant, but plus, in later games, you can, after completing certain requirements, you can get this power-up thing, and this applies to the Game Boy Advance games as well. This power-up that allows Sparks to either have a wider gem collection radius or hold down certain buttons and he'll point in the direction of where any remaining loose gems are. So, in subsequent games, there's even less of an obligation to get every single one on your first run through a level. But it is made slightly easier because if you do it all in one run, then you'll know which enemies you've already defeated because they'll already be dead. Anyway, in the next episode, oh boy, we're going to take on Misty Bog. I have a lot to say about this level. Not all of it good, but some of it good. See you then. Fun times ahead.